All right, we're live and it's Real Talk on Real Estate. And today we're going to be talking about single family versus duplexes and which is more affordable to build. Now, more so than what's the affordability, let's talk about which is the more profitable one. Because it doesn't matter how affordable it is, you can build stuff and it can become affordable. And if you don't make no money doing it, even if you build it for a good cost, who cares, right? So the biggest thing is who cares which one costs more to build, duplexes or single family homes. What really matters is which one is more profitable. And that's what I really want to talk about today. And yes, the bottom line of the cost to build is very important. Now, what you're going to learn here today is that you're going to learn that profitability comes in multitudes of ways. And I want to share with you guys the attributes to not just single family homes, but multi-unit real estate, starting with duplexes, because once you get into duplexes, you can get into quads, you're going to get into 5 units, 6 units, 7 unit, 8 unit, 10 units, so on and so forth. And I want to talk about the power of numbers and how you do build them, right? One of the questions that comes up a lot is they say, people come up to me and they say, Jerome, I want to build houses and I want to build in the affordable sector of homes. And I always tell them, I say, that's great. I think that's a great idea, and the attitude comes from the but. And because it's great to be able to go out and create affordable housing, but I was always taught by a mentor that a drowning person can't save another drowning person. So if you're financially drowning, you can't go out and save the affordability crisis, and nor are you going to make the magnitude of capital that you need to really make an impact on affordable housing. So let's talk about the cost of single family homes versus going out and building duplexes. Now, when we go out, guys, and we build single family homes, one of the things that I always talk about is I say, look, build in a sector that makes sense financially, because you're holding a lot of risk, right? If you're going in, you're building a house, whether it's a $400,000 house or an $800,000 house, most people don't have that type of expendable income to just float it, right? Like even if you're borrowing it, the interest payments, whatever it is, you don't want to float any of that, whether it's private money, hard money, institutional money, whatever it is, you don't want that to float. So I always tell people, make the spread of profitability large enough that you can go in and afford to carry it and make sense financially. So if there's a market compression or whatever's happening, you're still profitable. So the single family home game I love, because we always focus in the upper middle class that constitutes for 24% of overall home buyers. So it's large enough that there's enough people there that you're not struggling like the ultra wealthy only carries 2% of the population. There's just not enough bandwidth for profitability because of the high risk variable, because of the limited amount of people, right? So what I always talk about is going in and paying attention to the upper middle class in the single family home game. So when you do that, the cost to build is going to be right around, the raw cost to build is going to be right around that $160 a square foot range. Okay. Now, if you're in some of the more expensive, more affluent areas across the United States, you got to look at this. I teach in black and white. Okay. When I explain this, I talk in black and white. People will comment in this comment section, go, well, this guy's numbers are all skewed. They don't work. It doesn't work. I'm like, you guys, there's 50 states across the United States, and there's over 207 major cities across the United States. In one 20-minute video, I can't hit 207 different demographical areas, right? So I teach in black and white, and in the middle is gray. Look at it from a percentage standpoint, okay? We're not going to talk, I'm going to talk about the vast majority of 90% of the United States right here, and there's that other 10% that's a lot more affluent, and then there's even areas, like I got a young lady that's down in Corpus Christi that's building, and there's not a lot of affluency down there. So we're building slightly less, but it's the upper middle class for that demographical area, okay? So you got to take it in perspective to what we're talking about. The upper middle class in the Kirkland, Washington area that we build are buying $1.1 million homes. That's the upper median. That's just where it's at. But the upper median everywhere else is between $600,000 and $900,000. So I want you guys to look at this from a perspective of profitability, because the single family home game is looked at from a perspective of profitability. Whatever your upper middle class is, that's what I want you to pay attention to. And if your upper middle class is at 1.2 million, that's what I want you to pay attention to. If you're in San Diego, you're up in the Bay Area, some of those are. You're in New York City, it's even more, okay? Now, when we look at it from that perspective, that's where money is. That's where profitability, that's where security is. So I always tell people, when you're in the single family game, the cost to build is going to be more than in duplexes traditionally, because most people buy duplexes because it's smaller, more compact, and it's more affordable. Okay. But let's talk about the caveat to that. And I want to share with you 3 different perspectives in the duplex game. But before we hit the duplex game, let's talk about the single family really quick. Let's move back and let's talk about the single family. So we're going to be relatively close to that $160 a square foot range. We're building right now. And if you look at our homes, guys, they're gorgeous. So like if you go into like 4 Mimbres Court, just you guys can Google 4 MIMBRES, 4 Mimbres Court. Okay. You pull up that house. It's a beautiful home. You go in and you look at another house that we just sold is 301 NM for New Mexico, just NM 165. So it's like State Highway 165. So 301 NM 165. You can Google those addresses. Look at the interiors of those homes. Those homes cost me between 155 and 160 per square foot to build. They're right around 2,500 to 2,600 square feet. They're gorgeous. They got big wood beams. They're custom. They got chef style and gallery series appliances. They have 12-foot ceilings in the family rooms, 14-foot ceilings in the entryways, 10-foot ceilings with throughout, big open floor plans, butlers, pantries, gorgeous homes. Okay. So if you look at those, that's about $160 per square foot. Okay. Now, if you hire a general contractor, you're probably going to be right around that 170 to 175 per square foot range. Now that's a whole different video and a whole different perspective on how to hire general contractors. I'll share with you that I will share with you that information on a different video on how to onboard the right contractor. But prospectively, you're going to spend about $50,000 onboarding a general contractor on a simple spec home. Okay. If you don't have the affluency or the experience to do it alone, which is a great way to start. That's your bandwidth to entry. Now, when we go in here, $160 a square foot. The national average for single family homes is $141 per square foot, according to the National Association of Home Builders. Okay. Now, that's going to be average median home, lower median homes, and upper median homes. We're at the $160 per square foot range. Now, if you're building out about a $750,000 house, you're going to spend about $100,000 to $130,000 for the land itself. Now, obviously, if your house is $1.2 million, you're probably going to be spending right around $200,000, $220,000 per lot for the land itself. If your house is someplace in the $600,000 range, you're going to probably be spending someplace between $85,000 to $100,000 for the land itself. Now, when we look at this relative to the demographical area, we go, okay, 160 a square foot. We go in, we build a $750,000 house, we pay for the land. Your profitability is going to be right around that $170, that $170,000 range, give or take. Okay. Now that depends on management, how you're managing it, your overall budget on your trim out items, and whether or not you have a general contractor or you're building it yourself. So when we look at it from that perspective, you're going to be right around that $160 to $175 per square foot on a single family home, but your profitability is going to be about $170,000 net on average, right? But that's based on management ability and the way you shop your contractors. Now, we put every project out to bid. So when we're done, what that means is we get a set of floor plans like this one here. We send this out to bid electronically or on hard copy. And we get bids before we start a project. So that we get a budget sheet that looks similar to this one right here. This one actually has my field notes. You guys can actually look at that. We're going back to our subcontractors right now, and we're actually making them go back in and fix some stuff. And this is what a budget sheet actually looks like, guys. And we run through it. That's the first page of it. This is the second page of it. This is the third page of it. Okay. Now, when we go in, we budget these. And a simple spreadsheet like this is very simple to build. It's an Excel document that we go out and we just track all of the costs so that way you know going in what your profitability is coming out. That's the difference between new construction and fix and flips. Fix and flips, you don't know what the variables are. Your costs are exponential based on unrecognizable issues that you're going to encounter. Construction, new construction, controlled variables. You know what it's going to cost because the variables don't change. Everything is bid ready, and that's how you do your projects. Now, let's talk about duplexes, because now single family homes look very profitable, and they are. Now, when we look at a duplex perspective, I sit back and I go, okay, duplexes can be done 2 ways. And I'm going to give you guys a little tip here on how to really make duplexes profitable and really how to protect yourself, because everything in real estate is about an exit strategy. And I never go into any type of acquisition, any type of purchase without an exit strategy. If you don't have an exit strategy, I won't buy it. And so the more exit strategies you have and the more potential for exiting the property you have with profitability, the better and safer it is. So when I look at it from a safety standpoint, I look at duplexes and I look at multi-unit real estate is slightly safer because of the multitudes of ways that I can sell it. And in multifamily, one of the big things is that you could sell it one of two ways, depending on where we are economically. So if it was like 3 years ago, let me give you a perspective on this and let's talk about the cost to build. Okay. Now, if we're going to go in, we build a simple duplex. More so than not, you're going to probably build it slightly more affordable. So let's say that we take that national average, that $141 per square foot. According to the National Association of Home Builders, and guys, I don't even want to see the comments on this. I'm just going to tell you the real perspective of what the National Association of Home Builders says is they say you can build a duplex for between the national average is between $115 per square foot to $170 per square foot, but the average mean is $139 per square foot for duplexes. Now, I know, guys, I don't know how the hell people build for $115 a square foot. I haven't done it for years. We do our warehouses and our empty space like that, but it must be a really low-end product, all right? Because I'll talk about the national average from the National Association of Home Builders, and people will sit back and blast me and go, Jerome, there's no way. I got to be careful because I'm over here on TikTok, and if you use profanity on TikTok, they ban you. So I don't want to get banned here on TikTok. So I'll watch my tongue. So I'll say, there's no way you can build for that. I don't know how they do it. All I'm going to tell you guys is that our average is about that $140 per square foot for duplexes. As we get into the larger stuff, it gets closer to $200 per square fout. The smaller stuff, because you can use residential contractors and the trim out and the simplicity of building a duplex is typically substantially less expensive than a single family home. It's typically about $140 a square foot. Now, you hire a general contractor, you're going to be between that $140 and $155 per square foot. So for a duplex, you're going to be between that $140 to $155 per square foot. Okay. Now, when we go into this, there's two ways to exit these properties. And here's what's cool about doing multi-unit real estate, at least up to about the 8-unit game, 10-unit game. Then you have to change into a full multifamily perspective, and it becomes a lot more challenging to do this. Okay. I'm going to give you guys some golden tips here. Okay. Now, two perspectives to underwrite multi-unit real estate, duplexes specifically in this video, so you guys will understand the difference. It's 2021. Cap rates are really low. Values are exponentially high. You can take an underwriting perspective of value based on cash flow and cap rates. And if you underwrote it back then at like a 3% cap rate, the value of that asset was exponentially higher than if you could just sell it like an average median condominium or townhome. And so I always told people, when cap rates are low and values are high, underwrite the property with an income perspective, because when you get the comps based on cash flow and cap rates, your value goes up. So you might be able to sell that duplex where each unit is worth like $340,000 per unit. It might be worth as much as $680,000 for just a simple little duplex. Okay. For a little duplex that are maybe 1,200, 1,300 square foot units. And you go in and you can profit from that immensely, guys. And so you might be slightly higher. Like now, the average median duplex is selling for about, each unit is selling for about $300,000 per unit. So that's $600,000, okay? So if you take comps and what the average median is based on comps and resale values, and you sell them by the unit each, you're only going to make $600,000, okay? Now, okay, so what's better? 680, 600, 680, 600. Obviously the 680. So you do it from an underwriting perspective where you sell it with 2 units, solid duplex, 1 property, 1 UPC. That's it. You sell it off as an income model. You make $80,000 more. Now, the contrary to that, we come into 2025. Interest rates are slightly higher at 6.5% to 7%. That means cap rates have got to go up to be able to service the debt on that. Cap rates go up, values go down. So now you underwrite in that same asset that was worth $680,000 from an underwriting perspective. The tenant's the same, the rent's the same, the cash flow's the same. Nothing has changed at all. All it's changed that interest rates went up, cash flows changed. That asset now is only worth $350,000 to $400,000. You take a $200,000+ scrub on the value of that asset based on underwriting if you do it as a dual unit sale. So now we look at comps and we go, well, housing's went up by a couple percent, 2, 3, 4%. So what if we just sell them off as single family dwellings and do them as individual units under condo law? And so if we do a condominium law, we have to get 2 UPCs. We sell them off individually. And now because they've went up, maybe they sell for $610 a piece. And now you make $620,000 versus $350,000 to $400,000. You land up with $220,000 more in your pocket selling them off individually. Okay. Now, the biggest problem in multifamily syndication right now is the compressed values and high interest rates and high cap rates are crushing investors right now in the multifamily sector. So instead of getting crushed, single family still doing absolutely incredible. So when you sell off a single family unit and you do it in a duplex, you sell them off individually, your profitability is still there. The risk factor goes down the drain and you protect yourself. 2 exit strategies, 2 different business models, 2 different perspectives, one goal in mind, profit. And that's the goal, profit. And so, ladies and gentlemen, there's tons of little tricks and little tiny tricks and whistles to this game, but you got to know them. And the only way to know them and the way to learn them is to either do it right here or go out there and do it yourself. The problem with doing it yourself is you don't know what you don't know. So protect yourself, guys, and make sure that you guys watch. Click subscribe to our YouTube channel for more information, more videos, and more stuff just like this in both real estate, multifamily, and single family, ground up construction, development, and real estate investing. That way you protect yourself long-term and always compound your success. Give me a little love, pound that thumbs up button, comment down below your thoughts, what you guys need the help the most with. You guys go out and have an incredible Sunday evening. God bless you all. And you guys go out and compound your success.